All right, so basically you're just going to look at me. This doesn't exist.
That doesn't exist, okay.
So, artist's question, can you say and spell your name for me?
Yeah, sure. Timothy Lim. Timothy-Lim.
And Invasion Media, is that your company?
It's not my company, it's actually my rep. So Invasion Media is pretty brand new. It's only been around for less than a year, but what we're trying to do is that we're trying to get a lot of the artists around the state and form a collective so that we can travel to conventions and things like that, kind of show off what Arkansas has to offer.
Awesome. What I'm asking for the lower third, do you guys want like local artists? Do you want like creator? Is it Ninja Inc? Is your group?
Ninja Inc is actually my company, and that's basically just me and my co-creator, my co-writer Mark Pellegrini. But we're obviously part of the greater collective of Invasion Media. Yeah.
So, co-creator of Ninja Inc, or would you like to just member of Invasion Media?
I would say for him. Or for me?
For your lower.
You don't even have to use my company name. We'll just say I'm part of Invasion Media.
Okay.
It's only for legal purposes that I have a company name. Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about SpaCon. What can you tell me about this event?
It's amazing. SpaCon is great. This is actually our second time doing it, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's his third year running. But it was wonderful. Last year we were invited, and we don't know much about the Hot Springs area, even though I'm a local to Little Rock. But we came down here last year and we were amazed. I mean, as you can see from the red carpet, literally red carpet everywhere, the high vaulted ceilings, I mean, they really know how to treat their guests and their VIPs well. And so whenever the show ended last year, within a week's time, we pretty much asked like, hey, can you have us back again next year? And here we are, we're back here again. It's definitely one of the better shows that's put on by the state.
And they had you guys doing a panel this year. What can you tell me about the panel that you were part of?
I was part of the Arkansas Artists Panel, so people who visit today and tomorrow, if they look, they'll see the Arkansas artists, and they got about 6 of us to go on this panel to talk about what it was like being an artist in Arkansas, how we got started, what our specialty is, and how people can break into whatever industry that they want. We have some artists who don't want to go into comics, they want to work in commercial fields. We have another one who works for the Arkansas Gazette, and she told about her experience, and mine, I'm a freelance illustrator and I work in comics, so that was the perspective that I had to offer.
So let's talk a little bit about you. What got you into wanting to really just get into art? So
yeah, sure. The art period is, I just kind of grew up with it. It was a hobby that I had ever since I was a kid. I always grew up with comics and cartoons. A part of me always kind of had that passion and wanted to get into it in some way, shape, or form. I actually started by doing merchandising artwork, and that transitioned eventually into comic book work after a period of time.
So what was your biggest inspiration into comic books? So you got started?
Yeah.
Back to the Future?
Yeah, absolutely. So my biggest lead-in to comics was probably Ninja Turtles. Ninja Turtles and Spider-Man. I remember having just always grown up with them as the comics I would read. Same thing with G.I. Joe. I like military comics. I just thought G.I. Joe was a really good entryway into that. So it's funny that here we are more than 20 years later and I'm doing some work for them as well.
So what can you tell me about events like this, like SpaCon, and what we met before, like the Arkansas Comic Con? What can you say about events like this for people who are on the outside, kind of like still iffy on like whether or not they want to come to events?
Right. The good thing about conventions like this, and we do a lot of them, we average about 10 or 12 a year, is that a lot of people think that you have to go to a San Diego Comic-Con or you have to go to New York Comic-Con, and that's no longer the case. Basically what you do is you go online, you look at who the guests are who are coming, you ask some people who have been to the convention before and you find out how good it is, and for the fraction of the price, easily like 1/10 the price of a San Diego Comic-Con, you can come to Arkansas and you can have just as good of a con with the same exact guests that you would meet elsewhere and have a lot of fun with it. And so that's a good thing, is that there's a proliferation of Comic-Cons and conventions across the country, but they're nowhere near as expensive, but they're almost just as good. Not necessarily in magnitude, but in terms of the quality, you can get it in a place like Hot Springs, nestled here in the heart of Arkansas, and get a really good experience out of it.
So, is there anything that you'd like to tell, like any of the viewers, anything else you'd like to add on?
Sure. SpaCon is absolutely fantastic. The people who run it are very good. Make sure that today and tomorrow are the only days of SpaCon, at least annually, and so make sure to head down here and check it out to have a good time. I'll be here along with my agent and our group, and along with the other fabulous artists here and guests, and just come down, visit us, and have a good time. Great.